If you had to snap your fingers and change one thing about the public awareness of something, what would that be?
That small scale vegetable farmers, the farmers that are growing table food, they don't get any subsidies. It's really hard to make it as a small farmer anywhere. And we're trying to change that in Northwest Indiana. And so any chance that you can support a local grower with throwing some of your grocery money their way, they're really kind of trying to keep those grocery prices stable. Their inputs are less. They're not worried about exports right now because they want all their food to stay here. So
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Spotlight 219, sponsored by Horseshoe Casino Hammond, offering a premier gaming and entertainment experience in Northwest Indiana. On today's episode, we are joined with Officer Brad Lopez of the CPPD to give us some insight on the enforcement of parking tickets on the Crown Point Square, a hot topic, as you know. And Ann Massey from the NWI Food Council, who is joining us for a second time to give us an update on the organization and to highlight a really cool farm hop experience that happened last Friday. So let's bring in our first guest. If you're a CP resident, then you know that there is a hot topic around here. It is parking tickets. So to give us a 411 on the topic is CPPD's very own Brad Lopez. Let's bring him in. Brad?
Hello.
Man, CPPD is a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
I wasn't ready for that. So thanks for joining, first off.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, and so let's get things started. So as you know, it's been a topic in Crown Point about the 2-hour parking rule that's been happening on the square. So give us a little background on maybe the where it kind of came back and how things are going with it.
Yeah, so the ordinance started in 1970 when there was meters around the square. There was certain spots that weren't necessarily metered, and then that's when the ordinance came into effect as far as 2-hour parking. Shortly thereafter, 91, it was updated again. I believe that's when the meters came out of the square and everything turned into kind of 2-hour parking. And then it was updated again in 96. We have, over the years, we've enforced it regularly. The past few years have slowed down a little bit as we're trying to move into like newer technology to be able to efficiently do this. We came up with a handheld device, essentially, which utilizes LPR style technology, GPS coordinates, pictures, so on and so forth, essentially to assist us in making this happen. I know the business owners have been super appreciative. There's been a big push behind trying to make sure that their customers can come in, get some coffee or food, whatever, and then be able to move along. And sometimes parking is, hard to find. Parking up there is definitely a premium. And so anything that we could do to try and help them is how this came about, deeply searching and mimicking kind of what Valpo does as far as this parking solutions.
Well, you mentioned parking on the square for sure, and it being an issue in the past. And I can say firsthand, I'm coming live from the courthouse. So I've been here for about 3 years. My office before that was above Zombie Club. So I've been on the square for about 7 years. And parking is a premium. And it seems like since this has been announced and you guys have been following through, it seems wide open during the day now.
Yeah, that very first day when we talked about doing it on the 8th, when we showed up there on the 8th to start running around and using this, the square was almost completely empty in the morning. And then in the afternoon, you saw cars coming and going and, moving around and everything. And ever since then, it seems to be working because then there's spots for, all day. You can come and go as you please and you can get in and out relatively quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to look forward to that jaunt in the winter from the Chase parking lot, but it is what it is. I know there was a lot for me, especially, I think we were talking a little bit off air, that anytime I'd have a meeting here, I could expect everybody to be 20 minutes late because they couldn't find parking.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of go back to something you said about the technology, right?
Yeah.
Is that you mentioned GPS. Can you kind of go into a little bit about maybe to give some insight on how you guys are policing this?
Yeah, so we'll go out there with this handheld device. It's got LPR technology built in, so as we walk up to it, it'll scan the plate, let us know the plate number, everything like that. And then it'll give us GPS coordinates to the exact location that we're at. We also back that up with the GPS coordinates. We back it up with the valve stem. Once we know where the valve stem location is, then we basically essentially, here's your coordinate, here's your valve stem. We back up the two, and then we'll move on to the next car. And then when we come back around 2 hours later, as long as you have moved from one spot to the next spot, that valve stem will move. The GPS coordinates change, and then we know, okay, this car is moved within the 2 hour time frame, and we're good to go. And then we'll just move on to the next one.
Awesome. Well, feedback wise, been pretty good since you started it then?
So far, so good. Every time we walk around, the business owners are super appreciative. We haven't really had anybody that I know of that's come in upset about it. I mean, I've seen some comments online, but otherwise, most of the people that come up to us and they thank us and say, this is perfect. Our customers get what they need. They come in, they come out. Down the road they go.
Awesome. I know in the past, I want to say like 2019. It seemed like that there was like a chalking of the tires happening to kind of enforce this parking. And it seemed like if you at least met the person out there when they were writing the ticket, you were able to kind of get out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think the hard part was that you had 48 hours to pay it. So what is the timeline if you do get a ticket? What's the timeline of you have to kind of come in and take care of it?
Yeah, so we have the 48 hours still. Within 48 hours, you pay it. If anything after 48 hours, it bumps up to $50 from the $35 is like a late fee. And then at that point, we'll just continue on for I think it's another 10 days. And then at that point, if anything happens, we'll issue it into court or try and send a demand letter to say, hey, look, you have this unpaid ticket, pay us. So in this way, we don't have to deal with trying to get you into court or anything.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add?
I forgot about this while we were talking earlier. There's this little sticker that's been in the windows of some of the businesses. This is like a map for the 2 hour parking and what's for free parking. So I don't know that all the businesses have it up there. But we are trying to get as many businesses to hang it in their window so you can scan that QR code. It'll let you know where the 2 hour spots are and then where the free lots are as well.
Awesome. And if people have more questions, Officer Lopez, where should they go? Is it your Facebook page?
You can visit the Facebook page or you can come in the station. One of us will answer any questions that you have.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And I wanted to send my my best wishes to Chief Patrick. I know he's kind of going through some stuff right now. He's a dear friend of the program. So, wish him well. And thanks for joining, man. I know there's a lot of questions here. So
thanks for having me.
Thank you. So before we continue with our next guest, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. Our next guest is leading the charge of getting healthy farm-raised food to our community and a fellow 20 under 40 alum, Mrs. Ann Massey. Ann?
Hey, it's good to be here.
Yeah. How are you? Is there any nerves being your second time?
No, it feels more natural each time.
Okay, awesome. Well, the Times put a post in the paper last week. I think it went out Saturday. Of your farm hop experience that was really cool. I had the pleasure of being there as well to see it. I was on each stop. Can you tell our audience a little bit about what that is and what it was?
Yeah, so pre-COVID, we launched an event series called Farm Hop. So this is back in 2017, 2018, 2019. For folks that sort of followed the early days of the Food Council and our events. And back then we had 2 or 3 tours a year that you could jump on a school bus and visit anywhere from 3 to 4 farms in a day that aren't normally sort of open to the public for a tour. COVID sort of shut that down like many events, and we decided to bring it back, but to really focus on the programs that we've been building in the meantime to really uplift our farmers, help them access markets, thrive as farmers in Northwest Indiana's businesses, and then the work that we do to make sure that the food that they grow can end up in some of our most vulnerable communities and feeding our children. So we did 2 tours this year, last week on Friday, September 12th, and you could choose from the farm to school tour or a food as medicine tour, which featured our Farmer to Mama program. There were about 30 bus riders between the 2 tours. And then for those who couldn't kind of spare the whole day, we also offered a lunch only option to meet up with our tour buses on either one. So we had another 30 folks that decided to do that. Each tour got to visit 2 farms. The farm to school tour also had lunch at River Forest Schools, which I know you were there, Alan. I don't know if you got to taste any of the food.
I did. Chef Nick gave us a nice little bonus. I had the banh mi bowl, which I think was in that picture run, and that was delicious. And then he made his elote pizza for us, which was so good. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, and so they are using all, farm to school ingredients. They were participants in the local Food for School programs, which is a federally funded program the last 2 years that allowed schools to sort of try local food risk-free and then allow farmers to get paid for their product. That funding was canceled, but we've really been working hard to keep the floor underneath our farmers with a variety of new programs. And this Farm Hop event was just one way to help us tell that story. I know the Farm to School tour carried on from River Forest to then Harrison Elementary School in East Chicago, where there's some really cool farm to school garden work happening. And the kids there are super excited.
Well, it's such a cool program, and being able to kind of see it and build that education. And I think I was a part of the Maryville High School's culinary program. And I got a chance to watch them kind of interact with everything, especially at Perkins. And then I think it was Ground Seeds. Was that the name of that second place?
Baby Green's Family Farm.
Baby Green's Family Farm, and it was hydroponics, and it was like that was my first time being myself exposed to that, and so cool to see. Especially, I believe, what's that stuff called where they got the tomatoes and the it's like an appetizer, but they made us like go for it. I think you have that. Yeah, and they gave us like these bowls where we were able to try it, and it was so good to taste that stuff, especially fresh. You can really taste the difference. So it was just an awesome experience, and to see. I think this is my second time at River Forest during lunch hour, right? And to see the kids just so embrace it is so awesome. I think they're like, there was the carnitas tacos going on and then the banh mi bowl. And it's just awesome to see that there is a hunger for it, especially in our youth, which is really cool.
Yeah. And we have schools sort of reporting that they're able to make money, even though local food sometimes is more expensive, but because more students are buying lunch on the days that they know higher quality food is going out on the lunch line, that there's more uptake. So we're really excited to see more school districts join the farm to school movement. And our food is medicine tour, which I know you weren't on, Alan, but that really highlighted all the work that our team does to help female farmers work together to then get their food into the hands of first-time new moms living at 250% or below the poverty line, who are expecting for their first time. And so those moms that are food insecure get that connectivity with farmers and learn how to grow their own food and sort of prepare farm fresh food in their kitchens for their families. We plan on doing this again next year. We'll hopefully have different dates, so you don't have to choose between 1 or 2 of these exciting tours. But if you like farm experiences, definitely follow us on Facebook and Instagram and check out our website. We're getting ready to release a full calendar of events next year, and almost all of them are based around our local farms.
Okay, so I've got a couple questions for you. These are random, okay?
Sure.
Okay, if so, you're a farmer at heart.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to grow one thing the rest of your career, what would it be?
Tomatoes, but cabbage is a really close second.
Why cabbage second?
It's my favorite vegetable. You can do everything with it. Like, it's in every cuisine. It's in every culture. You can eat it raw, you can eat it cooked, you can ferment it, you can store it. It's like the universal vegetable. It's harder to grow because the bugs love it just as much as, well, people that like cabbage love it. Not everybody likes cabbage. People think it's stinky or something. But tomatoes just have that like wow factor that I love being in my high tunnel with just floor to ceiling or ground to high tunnel roof tomatoes around me.
If you had to snap your fingers and change one thing about the public awareness of something, what would that be?
That small scale vegetable farmers, the farmers that are growing table food, they don't get any subsidies. It's really hard to make it as a small farmer anywhere. And we're trying to change that in Northwest Indiana. And so any chance that you can support a local grower with throwing some of your grocery money their way, they're really kind of trying to keep those grocery prices stable. Their inputs are less. They're not worried about exports right now because they want all their food to stay here. So anything you can do to support a local farmer. I know there's like this statistic that in Indiana, if all households shifted 10% of their grocery budget to local food, that would be over $1 billion in revenue generation just in our own state. So it's a big deal if we all could do a little bit more to keep our dollars local on food.
Well, I think we saw it during COVID and the importance of having a local market and what that does to the supply chain when that breaks down, right? And so to have that not only be able to kind of like get your food from a local source, but also be able to have access to it is so important. So appreciate the work you do. And I know you're fighting the good fight, and please keep doing it.
Well, thanks for helping us tell our story, Alan.
You're awesome. And thanks for joining.
Thank you.
So thanks for watching this episode of Spotlight, and make sure to check out some of the events going on at the venue at Horseshoe Casino, including Lamb of God, September 27th, and Patton Oswalt on October 10th. To find out about all things happening in the region, go to the Times website at nwi.com or on their socials, and please check out Eat Local 219 app on both iTunes and Android. New episodes drop every week on Thursday, so be on the lookout. Thanks again for watching, and have a great weekend.